Hey guys, it's Tempest, and in this video we're going to take a look at a matchup that I've seen people struggle against quite a bit, mostly due to the champion not being the most popular pick, Yasuo versus Diana. Diana is a champion who you don't see very often unless the person one-tricks her. She could be a surprisingly strong matchup if you have no idea how to play against her, but the matchup is quite simple. The most important thing to know about Diana is that she can only reset her ultimate if she hits you with Q first, so keep an eye out for this at all costs. You'd be surprised by how much damage she could deal to you just by landing a single Q at level 6. Even if you are full HP, if you end up getting hit by even one Q, she can easily all-in you, so be super cautious about this, and never feel safe no matter how healthy you are. Luckily, after knowing this fact, this matchup gets very easy due to how easy it is to either just windwall her Q or to stay back when it's coming back up. Other things to note about this matchup are not taking extended trade on her early on when her W's up, since the shielding will overpower your damage, and to not go on her when her empowered auto attack is up, which is every third auto attack. I start off the laning phase just pushing super hard early on because Diana has a hard time CSing under tower due to her third auto attack being AoE, and it could mess up the CS under tower. Also, since she starts W, you don't want to fight her level 1. The shielding is way too much for you, and it's a lot better to just push to get level 2 as fast as possible. Unfortunately, this Diana plays it super well and ends up getting all the CS under tower by managing her W and her passive very well. I see that Jarvan's splitting the map and is on their blue buff, so I just want to hug bot lane this whole time. I'm not too scared because Diana has like almost no gank setup until 6, so I could play fairly aggressive. I opt in taking Conqueror in this matchup instead of Fleet just because I know we're going to be having extended trades and Conqueror is very good for this. I let her push to me because Diana's biggest weakness is getting ganked. I see Jarvan wants the gank, so I quickly get my third Q and go on her. We end up getting her flash early, which is very nice. If you're not looking to roam or play for scuttles and there's no scuttles up, it's very good to just let the lane push to you and have it on your side, just for extended trades and for easy gank setup. This is especially nice against melee matchups because melee matchups like Cho'Gath, Diana, champions that don't have escapes and are very immobile. Another thing to note about Diana is that she goes very mana hungry, so just letting her starve herself of mana is very nice, especially since we have a lot of sustain. I see that she's so I'm not scared even though it's a 2v1, so I just go up and harass her real fast to keep Thresh interested. Basically what this doing is just making them share farm and experience, which is just gonna build a lead for me. Also, this Diana didn't go TP, which is even easier to starve her mana, but since she did go Ignite, she's going to be very deadly at level 6, so I need to be careful. I opt in for early boots and go for a double Doran's. The reason I get double Doran's and not MR is because she's the only AP threat. If they had an AP jungle instead of a Doran's blade, I would get the MR instead. But I go for extra HP because it helps against her and Graves. You never want to build just solely for lane. Sure, it's gonna help win the lane, but it's not gonna help against anyone else. Now that she's 6, as I said, I never want to get hit by a Q, and I always have to be scared. This is how a lot of people lose this lane. They think it's very easy, and it looks like I'm having a very easy time, but if I get hit by even one Q, the lane can go way in her favor. And as you can see, the only times I ever E towards her and go for a trade on her is when I see that she Qs. She Qs, so I go into the minion wave, and I'm not afraid. You have nothing to be scared of after she uses her Q. And at this point, it has about a 7-second cooldown, so you have 7 seconds to do whatever you want. Since the only thing I need to win wall in this lane is Q, it's very useful to use windwall to deny her CS like cannon minions. I instantly push on her and follow up on the Jarvan invade. I help him secure wraiths and go right back to pushing. As soon as I see another fight breaking out, I follow immediately. I see Diana uses her R on Jarvan, so I instantly all in the Graves. Again, easy kill, and turn right on the Scion. I win all her Q and see that she's so I know there's no way we can lose this. We end up securing 2 kills with good follow-up from me and Kennen. I know I could play that aggressive just by knowing that Diana doesn't have her R available and that she's low in mana. I also have windwall already, so even if she has ult, I can quickly just windwall her Q and she's useless. Since I have a pretty decent lead off that, I just go straight for my core of Static Shiv. I actually don't end up building any MR this game just due to her being the only AP. And I know as long as I windwall her W, she can't all-in me, so I'm not scared. I see that she's decently low on mana, and that she's taking my minion wave and she just used Q, so I opt in for an all-in. I land Q under tower, she wastes her Q, and I instantly get a kill. Unfortunately, we go 1 for 1 due to how strong towers are early, but trading a 1 for 1 when you outscale your opponent is always good. If I had a shutdown, that would have been not worth it at all, but since I knew I didn't have a shutdown, I was perfectly fine trading that kill. At this point, I'm not too scared of her. I see that her item, she's opting in for Rabadon, so she's not really strong until it's completely completed. And I already have my static shiv, so there's nothing to be scared of. I also have so much sustain that all the damage she does to me, I can quickly heal it back, and she has no sustain. So at this point, I use my lead to just push on her constantly so she can't get back into the game by roaming, and try to get as much turret as I can. Since I have a Nautilus, and after I push out the side lane to make someone follow, I quickly group up with my team. If you have good knockups on your team, it's always good to follow with them. I can either follow up on Jarvan EQ or Nautilus ult. It's only better to split if you have no knockups on your team, and your team fight is way worse. This game, we have the superior team fight. Jarvan ends up getting picked off, and we try to just disengage as fast as possible. If someone instantly dies on your team, your goal should just be to get out immediately, usually. There's no point of risking a bigger throw. As you can see, I go for a 4v5, and unfortunately, I get hooked. If I didn't get hooked, we would kill them all here. There's no point in taking this risk. The best play here is just to back out and wait for a 5v5, because this is the only chance we can throw the game. At this point, I call my jungler to shadow me, and we should win every 2v2 from now on. I aim to split bot side since Baron isn't up yet, so we could secure dragons. I also note that Diana built a straight Rabadon's, and it's finally completed. Since I didn't build any MR this game, I still have to be very careful against her. Just because I beat her in the laning phase, she could still easily one-shot me if she lands a Q with that build. But as you can see, as soon as I push out one wave, I instantly group with my team. By doing this, since we both follow, Diana's losing farm, but I'm not. So it's very effective. As soon as Baron comes up, I instantly go top instead of splitting bot lane. You should never ever be bot side when Baron's up, if you have no TP. The only time you should be splitting bot is if you're playing top lane YASUO with TP. I see Graves, but again, it's the only way we could throw the game, by taking uneven fights. I want to go on the Diana, but same thing. No idea where the enemy team is, and I just saw Graves nearby. So the goal now is to get vision around Baron and just bait them into us. Unfortunately again, Nautilus gets caught and we fight a 4v5. But at this point we're so far ahead that we win uneven fights. I see Diana towards me and she instantly goes at me. I flash away and we pick up a Nico kill. The reason I wasn't scared of her is because I know she can't kill me unless she Qs first. So if she opts to Q onto me there, I just instantly win wall it and it's fine first, which there's no way of her killing me, so I'm not fazed by it, and just bait her in. I look for the NATO on Graves so we don't 50-50 the Baron. In these situations, you should never ever 50-50 a Baron. It is a massive way, and the most popular way, people throw games. And a lot of people would blame their jungler if you miss a smite, but it's really not his fault. In those situations, you should always find the jungler first and kill him, or at least zone him out. It's a 50-50 for a reason. There's no reason to blame your jungler. It's everyone's fault. And again, due to them having a bursty team comp, but she's the only EP, I go for Sterix. It's good anti-burst of all around damage of AD and AP burst, which is the most standard YASUO build. At this point with Baron, we just want a 5v5 and all be in the same lane. In this instance, we don't want to split and push two lanes at once because they really have no wave clear, which is a huge disadvantage of playing Diana mid and not a mage. Especially since we're a 5v5 teamfight comp, we should just always stick together, and there should be no way we can lose the game. I don't ult off the Nico because she's ulting, and I'll probably just get insta-killed, most likely. You should never ever ult just because someone gets knocked up. When ulting with YASUO, you should always visualize who is around your target and what's going to happen. If I ult that Nico, with 4 people around her, I'm just going to get stunned and instantly killed. Good knockup on Thresh, but unfortunately, he has flash. And eventually we just 5v5 and overpower them and finally end the game. And that about wraps up this video. I hope you take away how to easily deal with Diana by simply playing around her Q, knowing what situations you should group with your team depending on team comp, and not making risky 50-50 plays that can easily throw the game. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe below for more YASUO content to come.